With so many people getting into City Heroes, just finding out about it, and returning veterans finding out about the private servers, I want to talk about the tank archetype in City Heroes. I'm Controlled Chaos. Let's go ahead and get into this. So the tank is like your warrior from pen and paper role-playing games or video games and stuff like that. They are also known as the sword and board. Their role is to take all of the damage and to taunt the enemies off of the weaker party members. That is their objective. They survive a lot. There are perks and there are drawbacks to the class. The first I'm going to go over is perks. You can, once again, take a lot of damage. You can take a beating like you won't believe. They get the most hit points and most armor in the game. The second thing is a good chunk of their powersets for their primary give heals to themselves, and a half of them give multiple heals. Then there's a couple that actually let you revive yourself from when you're taken out. Now the drawbacks are your power sets for damage aren't that great. You're gonna be on the lower end of the damage output. Not the lowest, but the lower end. Maybe if you slot things correctly with your enhancements, you'll be in the medium range. But you'll never be the higher damage outputs like your scrappers or your blasters, where they can just dish out a bunch of damage and take out opponents quickly. Next drawback is that there are a lot of toggles on their defensive powers, and this drains endurance. So you're gonna want to slot a lot of endurance enhancements on your toggles, guaranteed. Now I want to go ahead and talk about how the tank really works in City Heroes. So you have your primary powers and you have your secondary powers. The primary powers for a tank is all defensive powers. Your secondaries are all attack powers. So with that being said, I want to talk about some of the uniqueness and ways that you can play them. You can play them completely defensive. And the way you can do that is twofold. One, you can choose things like invulnerability or ice armor or stone armor, things like that, which give you a lot of increased defenses, so when you take damage, it's not that much damage, and that's how you survive. Another way you can play this route is you can do the healing route, where you'll get a lot of heals, and that comes from your fire armor and your other armors, like for instance dark armor. You can choose that, and that has a good chunk of heals in it too. Those two also have the revives. The fire armor one has the Phoenix Rises, which just lets you res yourself and does damage to enemies around you. Then in dark armor you have a revive, but the only way you can use it is if enemies are around you. It draws the health from the enemies and gives it to you. If there are no enemies around, you will not be able to revive yourself. Now I want to talk about attacking. When you're attacking, you can do it in multiple ways. You can do it as just straight out damage and just stack a bunch of damage enhancements on them, or you can do it a good amount of damage and then have a dot by doing the fire attacks. Or if you want to slow down your enemy's attacks to help out being more defensive, you can choose ice attacks, and that would stack really well if you're playing a defensive way. Another good way to play defensively is by choosing electric attacks and electric armor. The reason why is every time you hit the opponent, you will drain more of their endurance, and you want to add endurance modifiers to those powers. Then with electric armor, there's also some of those that let you drain endurance also, and you want endurance modifiers on those too, because you can drain them down to zero where the enemy is not attacking you at all. So that's really good. How you build out your tank is up to you. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate if you just hit that like button. Feel free to share this with people that are interested in the game and wanting to know about the classes. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.